Welcome to Mythic Boss Rush level 420. Smoke him if you got him. Day 1. This is going to be an Ahoon day, so we've got a strategy here with Malchezaar to use his All Realities ability to reduce Ahoon's hit points and kill him instantly. So I'm going to be using Medivh with his counter ward. Eudora's just got some extra health here. Boon, I'm just using the Dragon Rune Axe because this Dragon's Mark is bugged, so it's his best damage. Using the heal on Gin. On Rogers, we're going to use a third equipment here. Ideally, you have this at rank 22, which will deal 40 damage and enable it to one-shot the ice shards that get summoned by Ahoon. If you don't have that, though, it's okay. There's a potential for you to lose some of your mercenaries there, but you can still win. And then we need the third equipment on Malchezaar to slow Ahoon's 0 speed ability to 2 speed so that Rogers can get underneath it with the Master Tactician. Let's go ahead and get started. On Chromaggus here, we're going to start with Medivh, Eudora, and Voon. And this enables us to get an additional bird into play, which I'll show you here in a couple turns. So the very first turn, you just always pass. And our goal here is to just summon birds until our board is full. And on the turn that we summon the second bird, we're going to bounce our own Eudora and then summon a worm with Voon on the same turn. So we always pass on turn 1. And then here you have to check and make sure that this is faster than 6 speed. We're just always going to pass if he uses a 6 or slower speed ability. And we always pass on this turn. And then now, the first time he uses a fast enough ability, we're going to summon, bounce ourselves, and summon a worm. You can nuke there if you want, but it's a bit more time efficient, I believe, to just wait until you have all your birds in play instead of sitting through the extra animation there. Same thing here, you can nuke, but I'm just going to pass. And this is a 6, so we have to pass. This is fast enough, so we're going to shoot our own worm, which allows us to get another bird out. And now, anytime he uses a fast enough ability, we're just going to nuke with Medivh and all the birds. We pass with everything else. And if he uses a 5-speed ability, which is his Flame Breath or Fire Breath ability, then you have to pass with Medivh, but you can still nuke with the birds on those turns. This Flame Buffet here. So we have to skip Medivh and just go with the birds. And these are rank 20 birds, so this goes pretty quickly. Or sorry, not 19. I guess I didn't put an extra point on this region. But if you're a bit lower, that's fine. It'll just take you a couple extra turns. Some repetitive farming here. And if you did nuke with those first birds on the earlier turns, they might have a bit higher damage from an extra turn of ramping from the arcane abilities, but it's usually not worth it to act with Medivh, select this bird over to the far right, nuke with it, then select the other bird, and going back and forth. All of that extra target selecting ends up just taking you more time than just going left to right and queuing your actions as quickly as possible. And then here at the start of the Ahoon fight, we're going to lead with Medivh, Rogers, and Malchezaar. And if we don't hit Artillery Strike after this first boss, you just have to retire the run and try again. There's not really a path to beating Ahoon with his ads alive. So, pray to RNGesus here. And we hit it, so we're good. And these shouldn't matter. You may want your Medivh to die, so you could skip this intentionally. But you can still win if he survives, so it shouldn't really matter. Depends on the Frost Anomaly level for when he summons the Ice Shards, as well as the amount of hit points on your Medivh if he lives or not. So now we just bring out Medivh and these two. And because we're using the third equipment on Rogers, we're going to be speeding up our Malchezaar whenever it's time to all realities. So we just pass for 2 turns. If you have the second equipment on Rogers, you'll need to slow Ahoon instead. Oh, I almost messed up there. So yeah, because we're speeding up Malchezaar, I've been running with her second equipment before. We do have to do it this way. And you do need to make sure you attack with your counter ward as well. Otherwise, you'll counter your own Rogers. And then here is where this equipment on Rogers will really shine. And we got lucky here, so these all used Frostbite. But they can use the Icicle ability instead, and it'll do like 140 damage a piece at 7 speed. And if you don't have a way to kill them all, which you won't, because these mercenaries don't have AoE attacks other than this Rogers one, then you could potentially lose some characters here. And I actually had such a low Frost Anomaly roll that even my Malchezaar survived, which is unusual. Most of the time you'll lose both Medivh and Malchezaar here, and then you just finish the run with artillery strikes. And it can even be preferable to lose them. So in that instance, it may have been better if I just nuked my own Medivh and my own Malchezaar there, and waited to attack with Rogers a turn. But we should be fine here. And there is a little bit of a concern with the artillery strike that you get enough damage for here, because Xaril has, I think, 240 hit points. We'll see here in a second. But Taran Zoo's passive, as you can see here, will make Xaril take half damage from Rogers. So there's some additional requirements there to make sure you get enough damage to finish the run. But most of the time you should make it. And if only one character lives, you do have potentially Medivh still alive if he survived. So there are other ways to still potentially finish the run. But there you have it. There's I already finished one run, but there's level 420 day 1. Good luck.